These are shocking laws which are okay in Thailand but illegal around the world. Many think Thailand is a chilled, relaxed country in many aspects, which it is, but when you hear these Thai laws, you may be scratching your head. And disclaimer, I'm not providing legal advice, I'm just doing this video for entertainment purposes. And do let me know in the comments how these laws compare to your country, because I'm fascinated to know on whether you agree or not. Alright, first up, massage parlours. If you've ever walked through places like Sukhumvit, Nana, or even parts of Phuket, you'll know exactly what I mean. Massage shops are everywhere, and to be fair, a lot of them are completely legit. Proper Thai massages, oil massages, foot massages, and some of the best massages you can get in the world are right here in Thailand. You go in thinking, yeah, nice bit of relaxation, and then you come out and your spine has been reset. But then there's the other side, and some places offer what people politely call extra services. It's not exactly hidden either. You can see the whole setup, and you can see that there's rows of girls sitting there. And at that point, you kind of know that this isn't your standard 300 baht foot massage. And the funny thing is, no one really pretends otherwise. Now, it's easy to look at this and think it's all about nightlife, but for a lot of these girls, it's actually all about opportunity. So many come from smaller towns or rural cities, and for a lot of girls that come here, this is the only way to earn a large amount of money. They're sending money back home, supporting the families, paying off debts, and also sending their siblings to go to school. So behind what looks like entertainment, there's a whole economic side behind it. And in a lot of Western countries like the US or the UK, this will be shut down eventually or made a lot more discreet. But in Thailand, it exists in this kind of like gray area. Everyone knows what's there, everyone knows what's going on. It's just kind of part of the nightlife ecosystem here. And people, well, like to make their own choices, whether that's a relaxing foot massage or something a bit more full service. Next up is the roads, and this is probably the first thing that shocks people when they first arrive to Thailand. Go anywhere in Bangkok, Asok, Anu, or even these smaller sois, and you'll see motorbikes doing things that you would never see back home. Just think, driving without the helmet, cutting through traffic, driving on the sidewalks when there's a big traffic jam. But the craziest one, entire families on one single bike. Dad driving, mum on the back, 2 kids squeezing, and this is just normal life in Thailand. Sometimes holding groceries, or even holding a dog, or even doing a wheelie. I've literally seen it all. And of course, in the UK or the US, that's instant fines and points on your license. But in Thailand, that is normal, because for many people, a motorbike isn't luxury. It's their only way to get around, it's practical, and it's affordable. And if you go to the more rural parts of Thailand, you'll even see younger kids driving bikes there as well. We're talking teenagers, or sometimes even younger than that still, riding to school, getting around the village, or just helping their family. And that is just how daily life works here in Thailand. Now, number 3 is exotic animals. And if you've ever been to Chatuchak Market in Bangkok, you'll know this one. There are sections where you can find birds, reptiles, fish, dogs, and in some cases, even more unusual animals. And in Thailand, you'll also see people walking around with monkeys or animals for photos in tourist areas. Now, compare that to the West. Owning or selling these kind of animals is completely restricted or illegal. There are animal welfare laws in Thailand, but in some areas, you'll still find this happening. For some, it's business. For others, it's tradition. But it's definitely one of those things that makes foreigners stop and think. Okay, next up, Ladyboys, or as they say in Thailand, Katois. And this is one of the biggest cultural differences people notice when they first come to Thailand. And in Thailand, they're everywhere and it's normal here. Working in cafes, clinics, on TV, in offices, and in the nightlife. It's just kind of part of everyday life here, but in the beginning when people come here, it's a little bit shocking. But that's the thing, in Thailand is actually kind of normal because there's a lot of ladyboys in Thailand. But if you compare that to a lot of other countries, gender is heavily debated or even restricted completely. And obviously, if these ladyboys were in certain countries, they'd face discrimination or even jail time. But in Thailand, there's a certain level of openness that's on another level. And obviously, there's still some discrimination that goes on under the surface here in Thailand. But day to day, the acceptance of ladyboys here in Thailand is a lot more visible. And that's what people are used to. And you'll notice this a lot, especially in places like Bangkok or Pattaya. Cabaret shows, nightlife, entertainment, or even on TV is actually just part of the culture here. But for a lot of visitors, ladyboys is still like an alien concept for them. But once you're here for a while, you realize that no one else is reacting. You might do a double take once or twice, but then after a while, you just carry on with your day and you get on with it like anyone else. Now this one really shocks people, but for YouTube algorithm purposes, let's call this next one broccoli. So Thailand became one of the first countries in Asia to decriminalize broccoli in 2022. And overnight, these places exploded all over Thailand. And now you've got shops all over places like Khao San Road, Sukhumvit and Phuket. Branded shops, menus, and even lounges. Now to be clear, it's not a complete free-for-all anymore because the laws have actually tightened recently. Public smoking along with vaping is illegal and the restrictions around this topic are always changing. Now compare this globally, yes, it's illegal in places like Canada and some US states, but for many parts of the world, especially Asia and the Middle East, broccoli can land you in some serious jail time, so the contrast here is huge. Okay, next is pharmacies, and this is one of those things that you don't really think about it until you actually really need it. Walk into pretty much any pharmacy in Thailand and it's a completely different experience over here. And you'll see them everywhere, especially around Bangkok and Sukhumvit. You walk in, explain your symptoms, headache, sore throat, stomach issues, whatever it is, and within 1 minute, they're already handing you the medication. Antibiotics, muscle relaxants, anti-inflammatories, stuff that back home would require a doctor's appointment and a prescription, and probably sitting in a waiting room for half of your day. But here in Thailand, no doctor, no appointment, no forms. Just straight to the point, and it almost feels like you've skipped 5 steps in the system. And the price difference as well. Something that might cost you a lot back home will only cost you 100 baht here in Thailand. So yeah, it's cheap, it's fast, it's convenient, but with that convenience comes responsibility because essentially you're making all those decisions for yourself. There's no one there to double check everything for you, so it is great to know exactly what you're doing, but maybe not the best idea to start playing doctor on yourself every week. And finally, Kratom. And this one surprises a lot of people. So Kratom is a plant that grows naturally in Southeast Asia. And for years, especially in Thailand, it was actually illegal. But recently it was legalized and now it's back everywhere. And you'll find it openly, especially in the more local areas, not necessarily the tourist spots. Drinks, powders, fresh leaves, and sometimes they're just sitting right next to coconut stalls or street food vendors. Now, if you don't know what it is, Kratom is basically a natural stimulant in small doses. So depending on how it's used, it can either give you energy or make you completely chilled out. And that's why a lot of people use it here, and traditionally it was used by the farmers and the laborers. You know, they want to get through a long physical day working in the heat. I kind of get it. But these days, you'll see people drinking it way more casually, like an alternative to energy drinks or alcohol. And the price is cheap. You can get a Kratom drink for between 20 to 40 baht in some areas, which is just under $1. And that is another reason why it's so common here. Now, compare this to places like US or Europe. In some areas, it's banned. And in other areas, it's heavily regulated. And for some, it's still a very controversial topic. But in Thailand, it's quietly making a comeback and it's gone straight into everyday life. So yeah, Thailand might look relaxed on the surface, but it's a completely different system to what most people are actually used to. There's more freedom, less regulation, and it's a lot more about personal responsibility. But here's the thing that I learned. Thailand is one of the best places in the world for a simple reason. If you show respect, you get respect. Usually double it back as a foreigner. But if you show disrespect, that might be the last thing you ever do. And honestly, I kind of love the philosophy.